Roll down the window, I need some air. Blasting the music, they stare. I'll get me diamonds, hey baby, I care. Too much about it, I dare. You to try me, homie, let's take it there. All that you do is just stare.
Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we are blessed to have once again the current women's tag team champions here on Raw. But tonight, this match isn't just any other ordinary match. Tonight, we see the debut of an extraordinary tag team here tonight on Raw. I hope you enjoy what you all will see tonight.
Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another great episode of WWE Raw in here tonight. Oh my goodness, that is right. We're going to start this off with some tag team action. And who are we seeing here, ladies and gentlemen? Bear witness to Fatal Attraction making their debut on the big brand here tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, JC Jane from NXT, Fallon Henley from TNA, and Gigi Dolan, who was signed to Raw and just, shelved. And here tonight, she makes her return. They all make their return back to the ring here tonight. And the crowd is loving this here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. The crowd has a love the toxic stable JC Jane had to Fatal Attraction, ladies and gentlemen. And I feel like if these ladies play their cards right, they could be as dominant as they never been before. And here tonight, ladies and gentlemen, the Unholy Union putting the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions on the line. And that is right. Ever since they became the new Tag Team Champions, they have been the fighting Tag Team Champions. Why? Because week in and week out, ever since they won them, they continue to fight like they're still trying to win them. And the Unholy Union, ladies and gentlemen, was down in NXT, but management saw something in them. And honestly, I'm now seeing the bigger picture because, ladies and gentlemen, this team is one heck of a team. They are badass. And, I feel like they're going to continue to dominate the tag team division. Well, we know who the crowd is cheering for. And Isla Dawn, ladies and gentlemen. Both of these women have been going back and forth between Raw and SmackDown. And honestly, I give them their credit for that. Because Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae weren't really doing that. The Triangle of Terror, who were the previous tag team champions before Indy and Candice LeRae, they were also fighting champions as well, but they were dominant.
And for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship, introducing the challengers, Gigi Dolan and JC Jane, Toxic Attraction. And their opponents, the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, Isla Dawn and Alba Fire, the Unholy Union.
The Unholy Union, ladies and gentlemen, looking ready here tonight. Another match, another victory under their belts, ladies and gentlemen, and I don't think they are phased at all. And as we continue with this match, ladies and gentlemen, the Unholy Union Fatal Attraction here tonight. With both of the women missing here. And now Gigi Dollins, ladies and gentlemen. Ooh, and takes down Isla Dawn. Both of the redheads going at it here tonight. And Isla Dawn, ladies and gentlemen, with the, oh my goodness, making her land right on her neck. And you know that has to hurt, but JC Jane is a strong one because she continues to apply pressure onto Isla Dawn. And now Isla Dawn, ladies and gentlemen, send JC Jane to the corner. And what is she thinking of doing? Oh, and now she sends her to the other corner, ladies and gentlemen. And now Isla Dawn just eyeing JC Jane here tonight. Oh, and turns her around. What does JC Jane? Oh, now we know what she wants to do. Doing some damage to the arm. And now JC Jane sent Isla Dawn to the corner, but no, Isla Dawn, ladies and gentlemen, evading that one, and she put her in the corner instead, and a slap by Gigi Dollins, ladies and gentlemen, straight to the face of Isla Dawn. And oh no, she tried to punch Gigi Dollins, ladies and gentlemen, and down goes the referee and Isla Dawn. And now JC Jane, ladies and gentlemen, rolling in. Oh my goodness, taking her down, ladies and gentlemen. JC Jane on fire here tonight. And now we see JC do more damage to the arms of Isla Dawn. Oh, never mind. And Isla Dawn quickly. Ooh. And Isla Dawn just tosses JC Jane and a brutal knee to the face. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we're actually waiting for Alba Fire to be tagged in here tonight. And now Isla Dawn sends JC Jane to the corner, ladies and gentlemen. And now she tags in Alba Fire. And JC Jane and Alba Fire in the ring, ladies and gentlemen. Ooh, and Gigi Dollins reversing every attack that is being driven her way. Oh, and JC Jane, ladies and gentlemen, going for the cover here tonight in such a unique way. And a big boot to the jaw of JC. And now she's just laughing at Gigi, ladies and gentlemen. Ooh, and she missed that punch. And now she was able to connect, but Gigi has other plans instead. Oh, and Alba Fire from the middle to the top rope, ladies and gentlemen. On a dive to the outside and landing straight on Gigi. And Alba Fire, ladies and gentlemen, continues to do damage onto JC Jane. And now, ooh, JC Jane blocks that one. What does JC Jane? Oh, and a big boot to the face of Alba Fire, ladies and gentlemen. And now she goes for that cover. And no, she was not successful on getting that win here tonight. You know, if they do win, they automatically become the new women's tag team champions. And now Alba Fire put JC Jane in the corner, ladies and gentlemen. And the brutal forearm to the freaking jaw of JC, ladies and gentlemen. And now Alba Fire tags in Isla Dawn. Ooh, and Gigi Dolan's quickly taking down Isla Dawn. And now Isla Dawn, ladies and gentlemen, was able to kick out here tonight. Ooh, and Isla Dawn dodged that one really good, ladies and gentlemen, and down goes Gigi. And Isla flexing here tonight. She is feeling herself in this match. All right, over to the top and a slam by Isla Dawn, ladies and gentlemen. What a beautiful move. And now Fallon Henley, ladies and gentlemen, distracting Isla Dawn so Gigi could slowly make her way back up. Ooh, and she dodged that one, ladies and gentlemen, but Gigi did not dodge that one, and she took a brutal knee to the gut. Oh, now Gigi was not able to do anything here tonight. And Gigi getting back up, and Isla Dawn, ladies and gentlemen, took down JC Jane. And Isla Dawn, ladies and gentlemen, with the brutal elbow to the chest, and now she goes for the cover. And no, JC Jane, ladies and gentlemen, breaking the pin right at 2. You know, they would have lost this match if it wasn't for JC breaking it up just on time. And now what does Isla Dawn have in mind? Doing an uppercut to the face of Gigi. And now Isla Dawn, ooh, and running knees to the freaking body of Gigi. And a stunner to the outside, ladies and gentlemen. Ooh, and a slap onto Gigi, returning that slap from earlier. And now Isla Dawn with the big kick to the back of Gigi Dolan, and now just kicking and stomping her here tonight. And Fallon continues to be the distraction here, and the point where Gigi Dolan could get a breather really quick. Ooh, and a big kick onto Gigi Dolan, ladies and gentlemen. Now Alba Fire back in the picture, and Gigi Dolan with the brutal clothesline onto JC Jane, and no, she tried to go for a kick of her own, but no, a DDT she was met with. And now look at Alba Fire, ladies and gentlemen, going to the top rope. And a big splash, crashing down onto Gigi, ladies and gentlemen. Can they retain? And no, Alba Fire stopping the pin, ladies and gentlemen. And another big boot onto the face of Gigi. And now both of these women come back inside, and a big kick to JC Jane. Now Alba Fire, ladies and gentlemen. Oh no. And Isla Dawn with another slam onto JC Jane. She did the first one onto Gigi, and now JC Jane felt the pain of this one. But like always, ladies and gentlemen, 3 is bigger than 2, and they have the extra person, they have the advantage, and they take it, and I don't blame them. They're doing what they need to do, but referee Chad Patton, ladies and gentlemen, is telling Fallon Henley to get out. And now JC Jane, ladies and gentlemen, reversed that one from Isla Dawn. And a big elbow to make her way out of that one, and JC Jane. Oh, and now JC Jane goes for the cover, ladies and gentlemen. Can they become new? And no. And Isla Dawn quickly takes down JC Jane. And a spear onto Gigi Dollins, ladies and gentlemen. Ooh, and JC Jane returns it with the clothesline, and she freaking hit her with the meanest elbow to the face, and I know it rocked her, but Alba Fire quickly comes in with the save. And now Alba Fire, JC Jane put Isla Dawn in the corner, but that did not work out, and now Isla Dawn, ladies and gentlemen, going to the top rope. And a splash onto the outside, crashing really hard on JC Jane. And now Isla Dawn, ladies and gentlemen, sends JC back into the ring. Now she's going to the top rope once again in a freaking stomp onto the gut of JC. And now she takes Gigi out of the picture, ladies and gentlemen. And now what is Gigi? Oh my goodness, and a splash. Oh, and JC Jane down goes with that slam by Gigi Dollins. Ladies and gentlemen, can they retain? And they do.
Here are your winners, and still WWE.
The Unholy Union, ladies and gentlemen, kicking off Raw in such a banger of a way, ladies and gentlemen. And still the tag team champions.